United couldn't go 4 in a row, could we? It's the question on every Man United fan's mind as Michael Carrick prepares to take on his fourth match as interim head coach of Manchester United. We are hosting a Spurs side who could be galvanized by their recent 2-all draw with Man City. But don't for one second think that Michael or Thomas Frank isn't feeling the pressure, right? Yes, you came back from 2-0 down to draw that 2-all, but you got to think the guy is just one bad result away from getting the sack. So he's definitely feeling it. Squeaky bum time over at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Michael Carrick, too, though, is on his own kind of unique bit of pressure, too. Pressure to maintain momentum, pressure to perhaps even iron out a couple of the wrinkles that we've still seeing at this Manchester United side right now. Still a couple of the same issues that we've been seeing for a few years keep rearing their ugly heads. So it's a problem for Carrick to fix. This is the early kickoff. We're not going to complain because we're not Liverpool fans. But we're going to take a look at all this and more today as we preview the match. This is United versus everybody. I am your host, Sean. You guys know what to do by now. We're going to look at some tactics. We're going to talk team news. We're going to talk starting 11s. And I want to get your score predictions and how you might want us to line up. So if you guys are new to the channel, very, very happy to have you here. If this is your first time, please subscribe. Please hit that like button, guys. Please subscribe. We are going to dive right into all this and more today. So let's get stuck. What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? It's almost the end of the week. It's Thursday, right? How's everybody's week been going? Who's in the chat tonight? Danny B is in the house. Big up, Danny. Yes, please do hit that like button on the way in, guys. I do appreciate that. Please subscribe if you guys are new as well. Don't forget, too, before I dive into the whole thing, it is 25% off in the United vs. Everybody store. I did pop a link into the chat for you guys. So if you guys want to go check out some gear, feel free to do so. But we got a lot of stuff going on. Let's start with a little bit of news because we've got a little bit of news to talk about. Not a lot, but a little. So, obviously, the big fun news today is that Michael Carrick is up for Premier League Manager of the Month. Patrick Dorgu is up for Premier League Player of the Month. Dorgu and Cunha both up for Goal of the Month in the Premier League. Sena Lamens is up for Save of the Month as well. This is off the back of Casemiro getting Premier League Player of the Week as well. I would love it if we could get a win, if we can sweep all those awards. Paulinia's goal is probably gonna clinch it, right? He got that bicycle kick the other day, so you got to think that's kind of gonna. But Dorgu's is pretty good. Cunha's was pretty good too. If you had to choose right now between Dorgu's and Cunha's goal, let's say it was between one of those two, which one would you guys take? Um, Obviously, Dorgu's goal for a lot of people is controversial. It's really not. The ball hit his hip. It wasn't handball. But Cunha's goal was the winner, and it was just as good. If I had to choose right now, you're always going to opt for the winner, so I might go Cunha over Dorgu, but both were just superb strikes, to be honest with you. So it could go either way, but so we'll see. But you guys know what to do. Go to the Premier League website, go vote for literally everybody. I want to see us get another award because we've already got more Premier League Player of the Week awards than any other side right now. We've got a ton. I think it's like 8, which is incredible. And that's 4 in a row as well for one of those. Danny's going Dorgu. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, Dorgu's was, I think it's hard. Do you like the little build up? Like the little 1-2s with Bruno and stuff were amazing. And obviously his strike was pairing. We all love a screamer that like hits the crossbar, right? Like it's amazing. Dorgu's is the winner, or sorry, Cunha's was the winner of that match. So it's always difficult. I'm always generally going to opt for the winner, but Danny's, oh no, Meyer Carrizo. Yeah, we've scouted him on this channel before. If you guys are into scouting reports, we've got a couple. I haven't been able to do as much this week just because I got to go. Actually, right before I went live, my Best Buy let me know that my computer's ready, so I got to go pick up my other computer. So we're reading the notes from the phone, which if I get confused, it's because it's so small and my old ass can't read it. But usually I've got another computer over here, but it's all good. Yeah, we talked about Nilsson Angelo. You guys remember, did another scouting report on him as well a while back. So I'm telling you, clubs, I'm here. I can be your head of scouting. I can be your director of football. I'm right here. But yeah, go vote. Premier League managers, Premier League players, goal, save, vote for all of it. That's all I care about. Just get some more. Speaking of transfers, I saw a report from Sky. I think it's from Sky. So take it with however many grains of salt you want to. That Middlesbrough this January window rejected a bid for Hayden Hackney. Apparently, that bid was from Nottingham Forest, according to Sky. So maybe Forest kind of proactively trying to find replacements for maybe some outgoing midfielders if maybe they don't want to get caught with their pants down. It's always interesting. Like, you sell a big midfielder in the summer, like maybe Elliot Anderson, everyone's going to know you have a lot of money. So maybe you do the smart thing recruitment wise, go out and get your, replacement now so nobody thinks about that. But yeah, I did see that report. Maybe they're looking to replace Elliot Anderson. Who knows? It's a big ask in midfield for us right now. Dylan and I are going to be talking about that on this week's Kickabout. Well, not this week, next week's Kickabout. We're going to play director of football for a night, and we're going to take 200 million pounds, and we're going to do our summer business. So each of us has some picks. I asked you guys to get involved. Go check out the post. Go check out the poll I put out too to let me know what your priorities would be after midfield. Everybody's priority is probably going to be center midfield, but I want to know what second priority is. So go check out that poll. Get involved. That could influence maybe some of my picks, some of my priorities. I've got my picks down. And again, you guys know I'm very good at this. I didn't even come super close to 200 million. I'm pretty good at that. So we'll keep that in mind. But in other news, our fixture against Aston Villa has been pushed back from March 14th to the 15th. This is because Villa are in Europe still. So they were play Thursday. It was set to be Saturday. It got moved. It really just got moved today. Now it might impact some people's travels. Like when Dylan and I went there, our trip was initially going to start on Boxing Day, but then they pushed the match up to Boxing Day. So we had to leave Christmas to get there for the Boxing Day match. It was super annoying. All it really meant is just an extra day in Manchester, which really at the end of the day is not a bad thing. Just cruise, hang out, do what you got to do. So, but yeah, it does happen. So what that means though is now 11 days between fixtures for us around March because of all the cups and stuff going on that we're not in. So I expect there to be some sort of friendly announced during that time, maybe some sort of behind closed doors friendly. It's to keep everyone fit. We can't go nearly 2 weeks without playing. I mean, that's rough. I know a lot of people think that guys like Casemiro can't play multiple matches a week, when I've actually argued the opposite. I think that when you get older, that going too long between matches is what makes it more difficult. I think that guys like Casemiro, they've got a higher threshold, but they've got to there's a certain amount of like interval between matches that is their sweet spot. And I think 11 days between matches is too much. So he's going to want to play a little bit. And then he says, haven't put much thought into it, probably decide end of season, see who goes down. Yeah. And some of that is my caveats for my picks. Maybe there are some West Ham players, but maybe not the West Ham players you're thinking of when it came to some of my positions. So keep that in mind. You guys know I always like to shake things up. You guys know I always have some free transfers in there as well, the bargains, because that's the way I stretch out the money. This is what good directors of football should be looking at as well. Those free agents that are upcoming, get a look at them now. I've scouted a couple of them before, if that gives you a hint. So go check that out. But all right, let's talk about this match because I'm getting tired of talking about this other nonsense. It's been a minute since we've beaten these. It's been since October of 2022 since we've beaten Spurs in league, and I'm really pissed off about that, if I'm going to be honest with you. We did draw 2-2 with them in November, but that was kind of down to us switching off, right? We had that match, and then we just switched off, and then we had to come back and draw it with a late Delit winner. So maybe that's the silver lining, that we kind of hurt ourselves in that match. It wasn't like Spurs were better necessarily. But again, I don't like what I saw. And again, different manager as well, a lot of different contexts. It is what it is. But Delit saved a point with that late hitter. But Spurs are way down in 15th right now. They are on 29 points. They are just 9 points above the relegation zone. So there are actually a lot of Spurs fans, some high-profile Spurs fans too, who are on like DR Sport and whatnot, who want them to lose every week because they want Thomas Frank sacked. That is what they're asking for right now. I know some of us can relate to that. Not me particular. I never want us to lose matches. I'd rather have us win. It is what it is. But again, like I said earlier, the pressure is on Thomas Frank. Even after that City draw, even after finishing top 8 of the Champions League stage, the pressure is still on. You have to think he's just one bad result away from getting sacked. We are in 4th, but only just. Again, we're still at that stage right now, which is mind-boggling to think about that. Even just a slip, or even just us not playing on a given day could see us drop to sixth place. If we have the early kickoff Saturday, if we lose by the end of the weekend, we could be sixth. That's just where we're at right now, and then we're looking back to climb our way back up to the top. I want to get a cushion. I want to put some points between us and fifth and sixth place, so we're not. And again, you want to win every game, but I would feel better with a bit of a cushion right now. What about Spurs? What can we expect to see from Spurs? Well, against City, Thomas Frank started with a back five. Really, they were just shutting up shop here, but he did shift to a 4-3-3 mid-match, and he actually took the handbrake off a little bit. Started in that second half, he allowed his players a little bit more freedom, a little bit more room to express themselves, and it really made the difference, especially later on with that what that mid block did in that 4-3-3. You could see it allowed them to prevent City from playing the way they wanted to play. Basically, they moved some players inward. They cut off passing lanes. And it really locked up that midfield for them, which, I mean, give credit where it's due, right? They did what they needed to do. But the question will be this coming into this match: does Thomas Frank completely shift and stick with what made the difference in that second half against City, or will he persist with the system that's been causing him to struggle? Again, something we know all about at United, watching Ruben Amorim stubbornly persist with a system that didn't suit the players, that didn't quite, again, a system that I don't think he was deploying correctly in terms of just all you had to do is start with the mid block and then build from there, like Oliver Glasner does, and we just didn't do it. But Thomas Frank's having similar issues, but they did a good job of cutting off that sound. Now, thankfully, we don't want to build up through the middle too much. We'll maybe play it to someone in the middle, but we will play it wide. We will play it over the top. We will play through ball. So maybe we could see that. They were very left side heavy against City. They, as you can see, this is their pass map, and now the thicker the line, the more frequently that pass is made. So they went a lot of balls off to that left hand side through Bogey, through Xavi Simons as well. They're going to build up there, and then they're going to try to move that ball up. They're try to spread the defense. They're going to try to make some runs or try to get that over the top. We saw that. The Udogie to Xavi Simons was like the most prevalent combination that whole match. So we need to be an eye on that. And that worries me because that's Dallow's side. And against Fulham, Dallow struggled. He went high when he needed to sit back. There was a time when Maguire had the ball, and really Dallow should have dropped back to just kind of kill some time and take care of the ball. And he opted to just make this random run, putting Harry Maguire under a bit of pressure because now he had no options. The goal that led to Solanke getting that penalty. Again, Dallow's nowhere to be found. He's caught between two minds, who to mark, and he completely lets the runner go, which pulls Maguire aside and allows Solanke to get past. Dallow's got to work on his footballing IQ. He's got to work on his reading in the game because it caused us some problems. But again, they're going to look to build up through that side, and that's Dallow's side, which is a bit of a worry for me. They want to build wide, as you can see, regardless, and they want to then move it centrally to maybe get it forward if they can. Thankfully, Carrick does have us set up in the mid block, so that does help. But then when Frank shifted, you saw Simons and Udogie really getting on the ball and creating a lot. Udogie shifting inward to kind of cause problems for whoever maybe would be picking up Simons, meaning Simons had a lot of the ball. And then when that happens, Tell, again, on that left-hand side, has one running option. And then you've got Solanke, who has the experience, has the nous. Again, you saw it for his goal, to know when to make those runs. To know how to beat defenders, to curl those runs. So we're going to have to be alert to that. We're not going to get away with a high line. We're going to have to communicate. We're going to have to. It's a kind of goal, that kind of situation that we've conceded goals from a couple times. Just simple runs, simple ball over the top, a simple case of an attacker splitting the defense and getting on a through ball. We have to watch those little overloads in the area because it could cause problems, especially if Dallow has another match where he's a bit switched off. Now, I know I'm picking on Dallow. I'm not trying to. I'm just pointing out a threat that Spurs offer and a vulnerability that I've seen in our side. Again, some people think Dallow's been better as a fullback than a wingback, and I think overall, yes, he has. But again, this comes back to what I said to start the show, that there are still wrinkles need ironing out, and that is a wrinkle. Dallow's kind of lacking of footballing IQ in the moment is a potential wrinkle. It is going to be a problem. So again, Spurs went man-to-man. Their fullback started marking City's attackers, and it did help as well. Now, Thomas Frank has been urged by his fans to take the handbrake off. Let the players play. Let them express themselves. Let them go and attack. Let them do what they do best. Frankie, I'm asking you as a United fan, don't abandon your principles. Stick with what you know, bud. Don't let the players off the handbrake, man. Just stick with what you know. What you're doing is working, man. Keep pushing for those high percentage passage and those high percentage shots rather than letting the players play. That's what we want to see from you as a United fan. um, Let's see here. Let me get caught up on the chat real quick, you guys, to see who's getting involved here. Rob Taft's in the house. We do owe them a defeat. I'm tired of bogey side, man. Remember when it felt like it was Brentford for the longest time that we just struggled to beat? It gets on my nerves. Big up boxes in the house. Lovely to see everybody. Make sure you're liking on the way in, please. Make sure you subscribed if you are new. You like what you see. DeBas is in the house. Who's going to have chicken dinner after this Spurs game? Hopefully, everybody. Hopefully, everybody, man. Big up, Debasi. Good to see you guys again. Who else is here? Rob says Sunderland deserve to do well just because of their recruitment. Yeah, Sunderland, again, they've got that young guy who's running things, like the young owner now. And they've done really well. Like, so many good promotions. I mean, they've recruited well. They went really, really heavy to start the season in a bid to avoid relegation this year, to stay up, something that, the kind of ambition that I would love to see even just 10% of from our ownership. But that's another story. You can go watch my rant from earlier this week if you want to know how I feel about our January window, or complete lack thereof. Vlog says Spurs have been a bogey team of late. Yeah, it's been insane that like you're saying, they're not been doing well, right? But somehow they still just find a way to beat us. They knocked us out of the cup, the Carabao Cup. Obviously they beat us in the Europa League final last year, and I think Ruben Amorim had a lot more to do with that than anything else. But it is what it is, man. Let's see. Debasi's scared of Spurs. Don't be scared of Spurs. Thomas Frank, man. Don't be scared of Thomas Frank. Again, we dropped some points to them early in the season. I think had a lot to do with us switching off. There were some good things I saw in that game. Again, that's the kind of game maybe last year we wouldn't have gotten a draw from anyway. But again, just the little moments. Again, that's what I mean. Ironing out the same wrinkles. Those little moments of switching off can be a big problem for us. And so we really need to do better there. A few of Spurs' struggling players have also decided to turn up recently, which is kind of annoying. Solanke is back from his injury, scored an absolute whirly against City. I guarantee that one's got to be up for Puskas. It's probably goal of the season so far. If you haven't yet seen it, go and watch it. It was excellent. But he's an experienced striker, like I said. So again, when you watch that match that they played, he's got these ability to make this curled run. So again, this led to their opener. Like, this little run right here, City's defense is trying hard, but they're not quite in a line, and you've got players trying to get the balls, but there's no pressure on Xavi Simons. He's got 5 yards of space and nothing but time, and all. It's a simple ball over the top, and you can easily swap out City's players here for like Dallo or like Maguire or something, and you can easily see the same thing happening. And so again, communication switched on. The line needs to be perfect. Lamens needs to communicate. If Lamens sees Solanke right there, he's got to shout. He's got to shout that someone to pick him up. Or if that ball is overhit, Lamens has got to come out and do something with it. If that ball is dropping into the box, for instance, that's something that we have to worry about as well. Now, again, Solanke got a little bit lucky with this one. Sort of bobbled, sort of trickled in. Obviously, you've got a shit City defense right now that kept him on side. So that had a lot to do with it. But again, this run from him and that ball from Xavi Simons is exactly the sort of chance that we seem to gift the opposition week in, week out. So it needs to be better from us in this regard. Now, you can argue all you want about whether or not this should have stood because of the foul. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the lack of pressure on the ball and the run that he did, because again, that's the kind of run you only see from experienced strikers or strikers with a natural instinct, the curling run to play it onside. Xavi Simons was lively in that match as well, got himself an assist. He's looking a little bit more and more like the player he was at PSV Eindhoven, which you guys know I did a scouting report on him a while back. He was absolutely excellent there. Gallagher, too, has come in. Again, Spurs showing more ambition, and he seems to want to get stuck in everything. He's all over the place. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that, because he'll probably give away a lot of fouls, but he will harangue you and he will get stuck in. And so he'll let us know that he's there. And now the issue for Spurs is they've got a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of players missing. Obviously, Christian Romero will let you know how many players they've got missing. So again, This is what seeing guys like Dragosun come back in the side. I didn't even know Dragosun was still there. I thought he got sold. I thought he was gone for good. He's apparently still there. He had a pretty good game though, so fair play to him. Romero might be sick. I know he went off at halftime with illness. We'll see how it goes if he's still there. But I think Danzo is still out. I want to say Van de Ven could still miss out. So they've got a lot of injuries. Honestly, their weakest link too, with everybody being fit, would probably be Vicario. He's just dropped. He's dropped off, man. He's not a good keeper anymore. He is a bit of a liability for them. Spurs fan will tell you they are not fans of Vicario. Um, they've conceded quite a few goals because of Vicario's errors, so it could be helpful for us. But again, will it be enough? Will they be galvanized from that performance from that second half? Will Thomas Frank stick with that, what he did in the second half? I don't know. Let's see. What do you guys have to say? Box says, if we beat Spurs, we build a 15 gap point on them and cement ourselves in a 4 or 5-way team battle for second and third. Yeah. I know a lot of us were talking about beginning of the season, talking about maybe seventh and eighth, and then we did a mid-season kind of revise where we kind of shifted it from like maybe fifth to seventh. Now people are trying to talk about getting second and whatnot. We'll see. If we can get top four, again, I'm not going to celebrate top four, but it's better for our summer recruitment if we do get top four. We could, if we don't recruit well, it could be not a good look for the league phase in the Champions League, because I still don't think we're quite there to be challenging for, or at least going deep in Champions Leagues right now. But you never know. We went deep in Europe. English teams seem to do well in Europe. So yeah, he was a solid pickup. Now I think they paid a little too much for him. I think, what is it, like 40 something? I would not have wanted to pay that much for Conor Gallagher personally, because I do think that if we would have paid that much now, that would have meant either we've got a player on a lot of money that's going to be rotation, or we're not going to get our top choice. And I'd rather get my top choice in the summer, but still, we could have done something this winter. There are a lot of options out there. And Devasi says, defending wide, low press, and long balls are my choice. Yeah, it depends on who's fit for them, right? Because if, let's say, Van de Ven is fit and stuff, they're not going to worry too much about us going over the top because he's quick enough. But again, the guy, this is why I love Van de Ven. He's an excellent defender, but he's so injury prone. Again, it's kind of like Cole Palmer, great player. He's too injury prone. I'm not in the fan. Audio Pimp, big up, says, afternoon from the UK. New subscriber to your channel. Thanks, Algorithm. I appreciate that. Yes. I always love seeing where people are. We're from in the UK. I was just there about a month ago now, actually. Our buddy of mine, Dylan, my co-host on the channel, we're over there for Newcastle and for Wolves. I go once a year, but that's awesome, man. Appreciate that. Love seeing new faces. Boxes, I think third to sixth is likely for us. Villa will fade away. They've done great, but not ready for the title bid. Yeah, Villa are struggling with the injuries now, too. The injuries have hit them hard. And this is why it's so important in January, too. A lot of teams getting injuries. A lot of teams seeing similar injuries. And that's why I went on my rant the other day in that stream, because I'm so frustrated, because we're banking on Casemiro staying fit. We're banking on Kobe staying fit, Bruno staying fit, when all we could have done is just a loan or something in January could have helped. I don't care if it was Loftus-Cheek or something, if that's what it ended up being. We need somebody. And a loan would have been fine. But let's see here. Audio says, we owe Spurs a beating 3-0. Oh, yeah, we're going to be doing score predictions here shortly. I want to look at what United need to be doing today as well. Shanta, welcome back. Says, I couldn't believe how poor Ugarte was against Fulham. He is not good enough. He's definitely not good enough, he's so hot and cold, because he had that little bit of spell like shortly before Amorim got sacked where he was doing just fine, right? He was having some really good games, but then he comes back in and he's just like, doesn't know what he's supposed to do, it looks like, which I get. Different managers and stuff I can get, but again, we've been saying for a while, we need to improve on Ugarte. He just doesn't offer enough. Like, yeah, he'll get stuck in. Yeah, he'll run around, but on the ball, he's shit. He's not press resistant. His footballing IQ is definitely not where it should be for a 24, 25-year-old. Don't know how old he is. Not good enough. He's got a role to play someplace for some club. It can't be here, though. We need more from him. It's not enough to just be that, router who just gets stuck in. You have to be able to do a little bit more. Box says, Van de Ven injury prone like Botman. Yeah, I like Botman when he was at Lille. He was a really good player. From Bridlington, Northeast Coast. Nice. Well, big up, man. I appreciate you jumping in, man. Yeah, we know a pimp when we say, hey, pimping ain't easy. Pimping ain't easy. So we'll see. I think it could come down to who's fit for them, because, again, they've got a lot of injuries, which you feel for them in regard. But you know what? We didn't get any sympathy over the last couple of years when we had injuries. Remember that season under Ten Hag where we had like the most injuries of any club? Like, and nobody gave us any sympathy whatsoever. So everybody else can do one if they want to whip out their little violins. We need to be more careful on the ball. I think, especially late on in the match, we're gifting a little too much possession. We're gifting a little too much time and space. Even against Fulham, we were playing a couple of balls where it was a bit too unnecessarily risky. Now, there's a difference between trying to go for a goal and trying to pick the least ideal pass in a situation when really the best thing is to take control of that ball. Eat clock while you're also kind of slowly turning the screw in the final third a little bit. Spurs did struggle in the first half against City because Pep's side took care of the ball. They've got better players. It was short, fluid, crisp passes that caused problems for Spurs. They were chasing shadows. They couldn't get on the ball. And then they shifted. They started man marking. They started cutting off the passing lanes. And that's what they did. Now, thankfully, we don't look to build that much. We'll build wide, hopefully, and we've got the options. But still, Spurs have shown that they can do it if they need to. Um, Now, it also helped that City kept the central passing lanes locked up. But Spurs again, they're going to start that build up wide. So again, look for them the pass central, then forward too. We saw this against Arsenal. We saw this against Fulham as well. Passivity. I've said it many times. We're too passive. There was that spell in the first half against Arsenal where we were just giving them a little too much respect. And then we did it again against Fulham. We can't keep doing that kind of stuff because it gives teams a little too much opportunities. We need to put pressure on that ball. That goal from Kevin, how many times have we seen similar goals from that? Because there's no pressure on the ball, no one's picking up the runners, and no one's getting on the end. I mean, fair play. It was a brilliant goal. No, I mean, keeper's not getting to that, but still, it's why it happened in the first place is that what frustrates the hell out of me. Um, Again, it's just not good enough. We've got to find the balance between putting pressure on the ball, but not letting Spurs create space by stretching us wide. Carrick mentioned this in his pre-match press conference. Like they like to stretch defenses. So if you're not putting enough pressure on the one with the ball, like Udogi, for instance, and they stretch that out with runs from like Tell and stuff, and Solanke's playing in between the shoulders of defenders, they will make those runs and it will cause us problems. There's that sweet spot, that corridor of uncertainty where that ball is going to get dropped into and it could cause us problems. And so we need to be switched on. We need to put it, again, find the balance between pressure on the ball and not letting us get drawn out of our shape. Because the way we've been set up in the mid block is perfect. We just need to be a little bit more on the front foot with it, especially in our own half, because I don't like how much space we're giving away. Um, we got suckered into pressing Fulham wide when they split the defenders. Again, what this meant too was Sander Berge had a lot of space to work with in midfield as well. So again, we have to keep an eye on that as well, especially when Dalot wants to make those runs when he should stay, and then when he stays, when he should be following his man. Like Dalot needs to know what to do when to do it, and it's so annoying, dude. Box says a bit casual versus Fulham at times. I guess natural to an extent as they're not an Arsenal and City, but a wake-up call. Yeah, we can always get punished by not putting pressure on the ball. We've seen it time and time and time again. We saw it against Bournemouth, we saw it against Villa, we saw it against Fulham. You have to put pressure on that ball from when it's in wide areas because all it takes is one good ball or, again, just a simple drop of the shoulder or something and someone's letting off a screamer like Kevin and they're up, man. It's annoying. Audio Bim says, we're at home, need to start the game off with aggression and pace, put Spurs on the back foot. I would love to. That's going to be the way we do things. We're probably going to see a lot of that free-flowing attacking football, but you also have to be mindful of their threats too. So we're not going to have 100% of the ball. So when they're on the ball is when we need to really focus on finding that balance between putting pressure on the ball carrier and making sure we're compact and watching our lines as defense. Boss says Fulham were in good form. They were in all right form. They weren't in great form. I mean, it's Fulham. Let's not get carried away, but yeah, our right back area is a little shaky, for sure. Still no Delit for this one. No Dorgu. Still, obviously, Mount apparently, picked up a knock last time out, but he's looking good. I don't think he's going to be back for this one. I think it's time for him to go. If we can find somebody to take him off our hands in this summer, we need to. But what that just means is that we need another attacking mid, which in the summer where we already have a lot of we need two midfielders. We probably need a fullback, a winger, a left-sided winger, maybe a backup striker, and maybe a defender, depending on how big of a priority. It really just going to depend on the manager that we bring in as well. But we need a lot. It seems like we say that every single summer. Xerxes back in the squad, so he was back last time out, no minutes, so maybe he could get in there. Maybe he could rock that 10 role if we need some rotation or something. Maybe he could play as backup striker too, but it's probably going to be time for him to go this summer's too. As far as your starting 11 goes, so let me know what your starting 11 looks like. Honestly, I'm not changing too much. You just haven't really needed to. Again, the question is, for me, the biggest question is going to be what that front three looks like, because everybody else is doing just fine. You think that the midfield picks itself, Kobe, Casemiro, Bruno is going to be in there. So it really just depends on whether or not you think Shesko is going to start. If Shesko is on the bench again, then it's probably going to be the same front three. I would still start Mazraoui over Dallo. That'd probably be my biggest change for this one, but I do that every week. I want to do that every week since we signed Mazraoui. He's back. He's fit. I don't know why he's not starting. He's getting a little bit more minutes, but we need to start him, in my opinion. Let Dallo come on later on when the team is tired, and because he's got the athletic ability, like he's got that energy, let him come on later on. But when maybe we need to just turn up the screw a little bit pressure wise. But I mean, if you're wanting someone who can manage the game a little better, who's got a little bit better footballing IQ, a little bit more of a leader, a little bit more better kind of reading of the game, then I'm starting Mazraoui time and time again. But again, the question for me is going to be that front three. What is that front three going to look like? So who do you think that should start in the attack? Would it be Cunha, Mbumo, Ahmad again? Do you want to maybe put Ahmad on the bench, Mbumo on the right, start Shesko? Would you put somebody on the left and maybe bench Cunha? It's hard to bench Cunha. He's in very good form. Ahmad was in very good form against Fulham as well. He was a constant threat. It was a toss-up for me for a while there between him and Casemiro for my man of the match for that one as well. Maybe Lacey can come on, and he's like, he got a hat trick the other day for under 21s. Lacey, he's been really kind of dialing in his shot. He's come on a couple times as a sub, rattled the crossbar, and one he's looked very, very dangerous. Maybe he can come on and be a difference maker as well. What do you guys have to say here? Let me get caught up here. Audio says, agree, for as good as Mount is, he's reliable as a Ford car. Yeah, whoever, like, did we just, our like physios just take a day off the day that we scouted him? Because I spent 5 minutes online and found out that like his injuries, then it's never the number of injuries. Look at the nature of the injuries first and foremost. You can break a leg and it's fine, right? It is what it is. You get the hamstrings, you get the cruciates and stuff. Those can build up. Hamstrings are the most commonly occurring and they're most commonly recurring. And I think that anybody with half a brain and 5 seconds on Google would have been like, no, we don't need that guy. We don't need to spend this money on him because he's free in a year. We don't have to pay him this much because why? We don't need to give him the 7 shirt. And then consider the injuries. Like, there were so many red flags to that signing. He was immense for us in the Europa League last year. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's like Shaw. I don't have anything personal against him, but you're never fit, and I need availability. This is why when we're talking about transfer news, when I'm looking at scouting players and who I want to sign, if there's a player who's got a bit of an injury history, I will avoid them like the plague. It is what it is. Rob says, Thomas Frank likes playing against us. Maybe Carrick can send him packing. I would love it. I would love it to go 4 in a row, man. Danny agrees with me. Maz for Dallo. Keep the rest the same. Yeah, there's not really a need to change. So Shanta says, you say we need a left winger. Where will Cunha play? Well, potential spoiler alert. If we sell Bruno, I think Cunha can play as the 10 and kind of play as Gibbs White sort of 10, a second striker instead of a creator. If you look at his heat map, if you watch them against Fulham, like, again, it's frustrating at a time because while he's lining up on the left, he actually plays more and gets more involved centrally. So if Bruno leaves, instead of looking at it like trying to find a like for like, just straight up playmaker, maybe Cunha could play that 10 role. But just because we're signing a left wing doesn't mean we're signing someone necessarily who's going to be like the finished article. Maybe it's a younger left winger who's on the rise. Maybe someone you scout from like Portugal, or I've done some scouting reports over there. Like Afonso Moreira is a player I like. Micah Goetz at Ajax is a really good left winger. Leo Sauer at Feyenoord. These younger guys who maybe can make the step up and rotate. So always something to keep an eye on. Maybe we poach West Ham for Somerville in the summer. Rob Taff says, I drop Ahmad, play Shesko up front, Mass for Dallo. Yeah, everyone's kind of going Mass for Dallo right now. Yeah, it's, again, the question is front three, because somebody's got to sit down and start from the bench. Basis is going Lamens, Mazraoui, Martinez, Shaw, Mainu, Cass. So you're going for a back three? Is that what's going on? We don't play a back three anymore, brother. Okay, you amended it. Good, good, good. Box says, yeah, I wouldn't be against trying Maz Shesko for Ahmad and Dallo. Yeah, it's hard, right? If I had to ask right now, again, it's hard because when you're playing counterattacking football, when Mbumo is your nine, he looks isolated at times. Like unless we're getting that ball to him, unless we get that ball forward quickly, he's not really getting involved in the game, and it's not his fault. It's just the way we're set up, and you can tell that he's getting frustrated with it. He's putting in his foot a little bit. He's leaving a little on people. He's like giving away cheap fouls because he's getting frustrated. He's not seeing the ball. So if we're gonna play that way, we got to get him the ball quicker. It's a bit too easy to defend against our strikers sometimes. I wouldn't mind having someone maybe just go play alongside him. Now, again, off the ball, we do set up in a 4-2-2, which means that when we get the ball, we've got a couple options to spread the defense. So there's options there for sure. Lawrence Burry, welcome back. Says, do you think we were sold a dud in Delit? Good player. I don't think we were sold a dud at all. I think this back issue is the first time he's had some sort of back issue. So it is what it is. If it were something that he had struggled with before at like Bayern or Juve, then I would be worried. You guys know I was a little bit apprehensive with Delit when we signed him because of the injuries. Now he's been fine in my opinion. Could not tell you what this back issue is, but I'm not too concerned about it unless it's serious. But I wouldn't call it like a common issue because this is the first time he's really had a back issue, I think. But welcome back, Lawrence. Good to see you again. Boxes. I feel we can tinker slightly as we're in good form, confidence, whole squad looks united. Well, you know me, I always prefer to start strong with the 11 and then make changes if you need to. I don't like having to bring on players when you're chasing a game because I do think that makes it just 10 times more difficult. We saw that against Everton, for instance. It's very, very difficult. Shanta says, Cunha is better in 10. If we play Shesko, then it is better to play Ahmad and Mbumo. I think Mbumo finished last game on the left wing. Yeah, I think you could. And then this is part of the thing that Ineos are doing is targeting players who are versatile. We saw links with Mateus Mane earlier. He could play a variety of different positions as well. I've scouted players who can play a variety of different positions too. That means like Mbumo, look at what Mbumo's doing right now. Ahmad can play as a 10 too, to answer your question earlier about, what happens. Ahmad can also play in the 10. When he was on loan at Sunderland, he played as a 10 and he was excellent that season for them. He had like double-digit goal involvements. He was getting involved everywhere. We've got versatile players as well. So I don't mind that. Bas says, I think Carrick will start and Mbumo and Shesko will come from the bench. Yeah, Carrick hasn't really changed a whole lot that he hasn't needed to, aside from Dorgu, right, and nets and needs must situation. So maybe he's not trying to change too much, which if it's working, it's working, right? It doesn't really matter to me. But what's your score prediction, you guys? Now we're moving into the big stuff. So I'm going to go. I want to know your score prediction. I'm going to go 2-1 United for my score prediction. Personally, what do you guys think this is going to be? 2-1 United is my pick. Do you guys think we're going to draw? I got to check the poll. Where's the poll at? Hold on. I got to bring it up on my phone. But let me know your score predictions. Make sure you're liked and subscribed if you haven't yet done so. Does anyone else having issues with YouTube this week? It's been really, really weird. Let me bring it up on here real quick. But 2-1 is my pick. 2-1 United. I do think it's not going to be super, super straightforward, but I do think that we can still pull out the winner. Let me bring it up here and see what I'm working with. So far, 88% of you are going with a United win. 12% of you say a draw. Nobody has voted for a Spurs win, so I like that. Danny's going 2-all. Let me close that because YouTube is being messed up this week. I'm trying to watch it on my Xbox and it keeps just closing itself. Box is going for 3-2 United. Audio is rocking a 3-0. I like that. Clean sheets. You guys know how much I love clean sheets. For a while there, I couldn't decide if I liked clean sheets more than just winning the game or not, because clean sheets is just like a big stick it to you. Box says he's going big. 5-2 United. Wow, nice. If we get a like a huge margin of victory, that would be amazing. The box is going 6-1 United, 4-2 Spurs. He's just going everything. He's covering all your bases. I don't think it's going to be super open. I personally think it's going to be 2-1. I do think Solanke could grab himself a goal, but I do have more faith in our form and the form of our attackers right now than I do worry about guys like Dallo, for instance. Now, Dallo to me is a little bit of a liability at the moment, but I do think that I trust the rest of the players. We just, again, find that balance, pressure on the ball. We need to put pressure on the ball when it's in our own half. Stop being so passive when we're defending. Doesn't mean we need to chase everything down, but we can't give teams as much time and space as we have done these last couple matches. Look out for the runs of Solanke, put pressure on Javi Simmons because not necessarily just because he's dangerous, but because Javi Simmons is also a bit of a lightweight. If you start kind of leaving it on him, he's going to kind of go ghosting a little bit. And so I think that he's not quite up to the physicality of the league, and we need to exploit that personally. And yeah, like Bach says, Vicario. Vicario is probably their weakest link. Lawrence says, I like to keep a clean sheet more than anything, especially against the depleted Spurs. Yeah, we owe them one. This is probably the best time for us to play them as well, Sue. So I wouldn't mind it. Still, most of you are going with a United win. That's the right answer anyway, so it's fine. Tobias says, we need to push and shove Solanke outside of the box. So yeah, and that was another thing. I think it was against Villa. We let Rodgers just run when really whoever was playing the right wing back that game, just push him a little bit. Take the foul in the opposition half. He's not on the ball. You're not gonna like get a yellow for it. He's not even on the ball. You don't have the ball. But again, instead of letting him get all the way into our half and getting the ball, just push him a little bit now to keep that run, slow him down a little bit. It's not hard. You got to have a little bit of gamesmanship. Yes, do appreciate the likes. It does always make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Now a win tomorrow or Saturday wouldn't do too much for our table position necessarily. We would just be 2 points though off of Aston Villa as well. But it could start to spread the top spots a little bit more of a win. Lose though, we could be in 6. Again, this table is still tight for some reason. Now Villa have Bournemouth. You don't know what could happen that game, so they could kind of stay in their spot, I think. But if they lose and we win, that's going to put some pressure on them. They're going to start hearing footsteps. The interesting one is going to be Liverpool City. This could be an opportunity for us to really put some distance between us and the Scousers as well. It's anyone's guess, that one. I'd love City to win just because I want Liverpool to lose. Chelsea have Wolves, so you got to think that that's 3 points for them, especially after they came back to. They did get knocked out recently against Arsenal of the Carabao Cup, and really was not a great game. But Wolves is pretty much a guaranteed 3 points these days. So I mean, it is what it is. The Wolves haven't scored in 3 matches, so you got to think Chelsea are getting something on that one. So that's pressure for us there a little bit. We are hoping to make it 3 or 4 wins on a row for Carrick and United, but we'll see. Casemiro is Premier League Player of the Week, so that's 4 weeks in a row that we've won that award, so that's nice. 9 weeks that a United player has won it this season. That's more than twice as many as any other club in the league. I want to go for double digits with that as award this weekend. Let's do that. I love to stay in the top 4 as well. It's Michael Oliver officiating, though, so I expect 1 or 2 contentious decisions. The guy loves to be the star of the show, doesn't he? He's an absolute bell end, that one. Let's see. Audio says need to keep Solanke quiet. We just need to remember that he's an experienced attacker. He's going to be up for it. He does know how to make those runs, so we have to anticipate that he's going to do that. I want communication switched on, put a little pressure on that ball, and don't let ourselves get spread too wide, that they're going to try to do that to create those opportunities, create those spaces and those lanes for him to run into. Box is going for a jaw. Yeah. Can both City and Liverpool lose? Can it be a lose-lose for them? That would be great. No points for either. That's why it says, imagine United axing the door and saying, yeah, it's Johnny. Lauren says, a home win against Liverpool and a draw at the Bridge would probably finish 4th or 5th. Yeah. It's amazing to me that we're still this late in the season and we're still having to deal with the fact that there's like a 3-point swing between 3rd and like 8th place. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let me see. I'm going to check this poll real quick. So 91% are going with United win, 9% say a draw. Nobody's going Spurs win. I'm going to end the poll there. I appreciate you guys getting involved in that one. Appreciate that. But yeah, 2-1 United win for me. A lot of you guys are predicting United win. Danny's going with a draw because Danny's just got to be negative. Why you got to do that, Danny? But we'll see. Hopefully we're talking about 3 points. Hopefully we're talking about, maybe finishing in the top 3 come the end of the season. But right now we're taking every match as it comes, you guys. But who's this? Abdul, big ups. I don't know what that means, and Viva United. I know what that means. So yes, Viva United. Welcome to the channel. Don't forget, you guys, check out the memberships. It is the best way to get involved in the content. It's not just emojis. It's not just badges. Starting 11 and Legends members, you guys can actually contribute to the content by making suggestions for when I do scouting reports. You can also get involved in ideas for episodes of What If. I still got to do I know I'm way behind on the last episode. It's just been it's been a bit crazy the last week. I've had some personal stuff going on, but I will get to it. But you also get access to the WhatsApp group, the Starting 11 and Legends member, because the conversation doesn't have to end just because the stream does. So we do have a WhatsApp group for that. Legends members can actually join in the weekly Kickabout show when Dylan and I usually go live every Wednesday. We didn't do it this week because it's a bit of a slow week. Plus, he and I both had some stuff going on, but we'll do it next week. And we are going to be taking a 200 million pound budget and doing our summer business. So he's got some picks. I've got some picks. There are polls up. You guys can go check out your picks. So we'll be doing that. And it is 25% off for the next 4 days in the United vs. Everybody store. There is a link to that in the chat as well. It is pinned. Audio says, am I live every day? I am not live every day for a number of reasons. So this isn't my job. I've got a job. I work from home. My wife works from home. So sometimes scheduling conflicts make it so I can't sit here and talk when she's in the next room working with somebody. But go live when there's news. I go live when there's matches and stuff. Go live when there's stuff to talk about. It's usually like every other day at the minimum. Sometimes it's every day. More often than not, it's like every other day. But I try to keep it varied with content. We'll do a lot of scouting reports. We'll do some, obviously, the match reactions. We do the kickabout every week. And then I've got the what if episodes that I do as well. So I always try to do something interesting for you guys. But big up, man. Danny says, anytime I predict a draw, they win. So he's just going on the old reverse psychology. I see you, Danny. I see you. And we are closing in on 3K, man. We are getting close. I would love to get. I would have liked to have gotten there before the transfer window closed, but it is what it is. You guys are legends. Seeing the channel grow from where it was almost a year and a half or so ago to where it is now, it's been awesome. I consider you guys co-hosts. I never just consider you guys subscribers. You guys are, this channel is yours as much as it is mine, if not more so yours. You guys really dictate how things go. But I enjoy chatting with everybody. I enjoy everybody's opinions. Even if you disagree, again, just because I've got the light and the camera doesn't mean I think I'm just right about everything. This is just my opinion, how I choose to see things. You're more than welcome to speak your mind. Disagree if you want to. I just want to know why you think the way you think you do when it comes to certain things. That's all I ask. Have a conversation. So, but like the video for me, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Consider hyping a couple of the older streams on your phone. If you get a second, it does help the channel out a lot. If there's some news tomorrow, we'll be back tomorrow. I've got to go pick up my computer, and that'll make things a lot easier because then I don't have to look on my phone to read the notes. But I appreciate everybody getting involved. So until next time, you guys, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Thank you to all the new faces, and thank you to all the old heads. I will see you guys on the next one.